And that's biblical. That's what the word of God teaches us, is that in order to be forgiven, we first must forgive. How can we expect God to forgive us if we're not willing to forgive others? And as we look at our spiritual health, the reason why so many of us, our growth has been stunted, the reason why for so many of us, we have not been able to go as far as we would have liked to have gone in life. We haven't been able to produce the way we would like to produce in life, is because we have had our blessings blocked. It's because we've had obstacles in our way, and that obstacle, that big thing that keeps us from getting everything that God has for us, that keeps us from living the fullness, is unforgiveness. And let me tell you a bit about unforgiveness and why it's such a big deal. Why unforgiveness is such a problem. You see, every time that you don't forgive somebody, you're holding on to it, right? And you've got this big old grudge and this chip on your shoulder, and you keep on holding to it, and it's they again, it's, I remind you, or remember, I said it's a big grudge, a big chip. It's like you're trying to walk through a door, right? You're trying to walk through a door. Matter of fact, I remember I played football uh, when I was back in like the seventh or eighth grade. I played football, right? And I remember when I put those pads on and I'd try to walk out the door, I wasn't able to do it, right? I wasn't able to do it. Not if I not trying to walk out the door regularly. I had to shift, I had to turn, so that I could get out of that door regularly. And it's the same with unforgiveness. You're trying to walk through doors. You're trying to walk through blessings or into blessings that God has for you. And it is choking up your progress. It is blocking and stopping your progress because you've got too much extra baggage on. You've got too much going on, and you can't walk out that door, walk into the next level. You can't move because you've got this baggage of unforgiveness in your life. Men, I want to encourage us. Listen, we've got so much or so many people who we've got to forgive. I had to learn how to forgive my dad. And it was not until I forgave my dad and I let go of all the issues and things that I was holding against him, that stuff began to happen in my life. And I was always, just struggling. I mean, I struggled for a long time, especially financially. And you don't think that your unforgiveness is attached to your financial blessings, but I'm telling you, it is. It is. I remember I used to, man, I struggled for so long. And I'm going to tell you how one of my problems was, because I was angry at my dad, because he wasn't always, or because he wasn't there. I didn't meet my biological father until I was 21 years old, right? And then even after that, I didn't want anything to do with him. And if I did decide, or when I finally decided to talk to him, I said, "Oh, I'm gonna just make up for all the time that he was gone, and I'm gonna use him as an ATM." And that's what I told myself, and that's what I did. And whenever I was, short or needed some money, I'd say, "Hey, I need you to send me some money." We didn't have much of a relationship. We didn't talk a whole lot, but if I called, I knew he would do it, right? And it wasn't until I forgave him, it wasn't until I let that go and I stopped trying to use him and manipulate him, because, and remind him of, "Oh, you wasn't there for me, so you need to pay. You need to pay," right? It wasn't until then that my blessings stopped being blocked, that finally the money that I was getting, or even the money I had, finally I was able to manage it better, and it seemed like it became, enough. Like, I had to learn how to forgive. And as men, again, we've got so many folks to forgive. We got to forgive our mom for how she did or didn't, what she did or didn't do. Maybe mama didn't raise you and you end up being raised by your grandparents, and this person was abusive or whatever, and you've been mad ever since, right? Or you're mad at your dad like me because he didn't raise you, or whatever. You're mad at this girl because she did you wrong. But we've got so much that we carry with us. We've got so much that we hold on to. Mad at the ex-wife because You know, she took all your money and this, that, and the other, and now she done remarried and happy and all of this other stuff, and you still got, you know, we've got so much that we carry with us as men. We've got so much, and listen, I get it, I get it, I get it, because again, I've been a man for 37 years, about to be 38, right? And granted, I haven't had to always worry about this weight, but I have carried this weight, you know, of unforgiveness. I've carried it at different points and places in my life, and I recognize how it has choked up some blessings. I recognize how even when I was holding on to unforgiveness, let me share this with you. We talked about prayer and worship on last week. I remember how even when I was holding on to unforgiveness, it was hard. Listen, it was hard for me to fully get into worship. It was hard for me to get into worship because I'm holding on to this grudge. And how can you expect God to bless you? How can you expect God to and you're holding on to this grudge, right? You're holding on to this thing and you're like, "Oh, yes, Lord, I worship you." No, no, it doesn't work that way, right? Now, don't get me wrong. Every now and then, I was just able to fully connect with the Lord, and I'd be convicted about what was happening or what was going on in my life. But then there were still those times where, man, it would come right back, and it was hard for me to get into worship. Then I would go and complain, and then if you've ever found yourself in this position, I'd go and complain and be like, "Man, I ain't get nothing out of that today. Man, church was so boring, or some church was so dry today. Oh, I mean, man, there wasn't nothing there." But when I really went back and I checked, it wasn't that there was a problem with the church or with the worship or with the preaching. My spirit couldn't receive because it was blocked with unforgiveness. Men, as we talk about spiritual health, I want you to increase your prayer life. Absolutely. I want you to be able to worship, but I need you also to forgive. Forgive those who have trespassed you. Forgive those who have wronged you. I'm going to say it in plain English. Yeah, they did you wrong. They did you dirty, as they say. But forgive. The disciples, they came to Jesus and said, "Man, how often or how long, how many times should I forgive my brother?" He said 70 times 7. You know, and it just that simple. And they were like, "Wait, whoa, whoa, hold on, man. You telling me I got to forgive that many times?" They're like, "Yeah." Well, what? And then I can imagine one of them was like, "Well, by the time I counted, I mean, I lost count." Good. You start over. And when they get to that, when you lose count again, keep starting over. When you 70 times 7. Man, I'm not gonna keep record of all of them wrongs. Good. Forgive. Let it go. Because I'm telling you, it opens up so many blessings, so many doors when you finally learn to forgive, when you finally learn to let go. All right, friends, listen, I wanna close this man to man out um, with a song. It's by PJ Morton. Um, and I'm debating on which version I want to play. I tell you what, I'm gonna play "Let Go" and "Let God" by PJ Morton and his dad. Uh, yeah. Bishop Paul S. Morton. So I want to play that for you. So here is Bishop Paul S. Morton and PJ Morton with "Let Go" and "Let God." I want to encourage somebody on today. I know you've been laying back a long time, just like it says in the song that's playing in the background. You've been holding on to this for such a long time. But let me encourage you. Let it go, my brother. Let it go. Here's PJ Morton and Bishop Paul S. Morton with "Let Go and Let God" right here on I Am Encouraged Radio on 93.5 KPPM.
But the song simply says, let go, let God. I need you to sit down for a moment. I just want you to hear the words. Hallelujah.